Hello and welcome to the MHG podcast. As usual, life can be a bit miserable, life can be a bit dark and bloody hot. So we're here to bring you the coolness, some positivity and some light. I've completely screwed that up. But somebody doesn't screw things up, apart from every week we record because he has to question his life choices. It's Stu. How you doing, Stu?
Yeah. What am I doing here? What's the point? No. I love it. No, I'm good. I am very good. Yeah, I'm tired, but I'm coping. The heat is a pain in the rump. I could do with sleeping in a refrigerator tonight, to be quite honest with you.
Well, protect yourself from the atomic bombs and everything that are going off.
Yeah. Oh God. I can't even bring myself to watch that Dial of Destiny because I'm done with that franchise, to be honest.
It can't be worse than Crystal Skull, can it?
I don't know. Probably not. But I don't want to find out. Do you know what I mean?
Do you know what I don't know about Harrison Ford? I don't know whether he's a good person or whether he's just completely gone because he just seems so indifferent to everything now. And it's kind of like, is it a bit? Is it just like, is everything you do now just a bit? Or are you generally that grumpy and apathetic towards the movie industry now, yet still taking all the monies?
Yeah.
Why? What are you doing, Harrison? I don't know what you are anymore.
Yeah, it's one or the other, isn't it? Either take the money and smile or refuse it and be grumpy. You can't do both.
Yeah, he was in was it the Star Wars ones that he was back in before he, spoiler, died? It was like, even the performance was like, oh God, I don't want to do this anymore.
Oh no.
And I kind of want the whole of whatever this next Indiana Jones is. I just kind of want the whole thing just to be Harrison Ford, just walking around, just muttering to himself because he really doesn't want to be doing this anymore. It's like, why have I done this? This is another adventure. I don't want to do another adventure. Why do we adventure? Why do we do any of this? And just like apathetic towards the whole thing. That would be a great Indiana Jones movie, and well, definitely better than Crystal Skull.
Yes, anything would be. Watching the paint dry would be better than Crystal Skull. But there we are.
What if it was a painting of Crystal Skull?
Better. Definitely better.
Okay.
Yeah.
Excellent. Do you know what else could be better than Crystal Skull?
Just about anything.
Video games. Well, not all of them, but yeah. Most video games, Stu.
The very few video games I've tried that I would rather not play for 2 hours than watch Crystal Skull. That's how bad it is. But, yes, you're quite right. Video games, Brad.
Yeah. Before we know, can you name one that you would rather, like, you'd rather watch Crystal Skull over play a particular video game?
I don't know, because it would have to be so bad that it was totally unenjoyable to play, even if you were crap at it. Like, really, really bad.
Yeah, even, like, Ride to Redemption or whatever it was called, or Ride to Hell Redemption, that one with the fully clothed sex scenes that are really bad on the motorbikes. Even that's got merits for playing it just because you could say you have.
Yeah, exactly.
So, I don't think there is anything worse than Crystal Skull.
Nope.
Not even Hitler.
Definitely not Hitler.
I mean, right, okay. See, now, you could edit that for yourself in such a bad way. You just really made it sound like, do you know what? I'm a fan of Hitler.
Yeah. Well, this is why I've got the hand on the editorial controls, you see, because otherwise it'd be a disaster.
Yeah, because now you could send it me going, I'm a fan of Hitler. Oh, dear.
So, video games then. So, what have you been playing video games-wise?
I've been playing. I was going to go Sexy Bunker with Hitler, but I don't think I have. There probably is a game about that.
If there isn't, there damn well should be. Yeah.
Yeah. There's bound to be some, like, under-the-radar bloody sex game on Steam. Anyway. I've been playing Marble It Up Ultra. Sorry to the developers of Marble It Up Ultra that you've got to be linked into with Hitler and sex.
They love it.
Yeah, they do. I've been playing Marble It Up Ultra. Since the dawn of video games, Stu, there's been Marble games. Marble Madness, and then you had Marble Blast Ultra on the 360. I know there's a big gap there between those two. There were probably others then, but there's like you've had like Marble Madness. What am I going? Oh my God,
Monkey Ball.
Stu, I've lost myself. Monkey Ball's another good one. But yeah, it was 360 had one. Marble Blast Ultra, Cooler World, stuff like that. Ball control, it's brilliant. But anyway, a little while ago, a few years back, 2018 I think it was, Marble It Up came out. and it was another good take on the rolling a marble or rolling a ball along a level to get to a goal game. It released on Steam, it released on Switch, probably some other stuff as well that I can't remember. Now, you probably didn't know this, Stu, but did you know this game needed an update remaster version?
Do you know, I really didn't know that. No.
No. But it did. And they've called it Marble Blast. I'm getting it because my game's mixed up. They've called it Marble It Up Ultra, which is basically, it's a free download actually. It's a free upgrade to people who own the original game. But basically, yeah, it adds a whole bunch of new levels and skins and bloody blah and stuff like that. That you could get, different levels. It's got a workshop content in it now on Steam, and it works natively on Steam Deck, which the previous version didn't. The old version, which is a game ideal for Steam Deck, run like absolute crap. So the only way to play it on Steam Deck was to use the Switch version, which I did. I own it on the Switch. I own it on Steam. So I thought, fair enough, I'll just make my own version, which I did. But Marble It Up Ultra's out. It's more of the same. It's bigger. It's better. It's absolutely brilliant. I love these games. Yeah, you just got to get to end of a level as quick as you can. Some levels are just straight up, get there really fast. Others have different types of obstacles. Others have like things you must collect. There's mini games in there now in a good way. So there's just like a sumo mini game where different, like you and someone you against as a marble crash against each other, and whoever falls out of the level loses. They've got a Rocket League style marble game in there as well, where the marbles are the cars and then there's a ball, which kind of seems like you just like it'd be like football if you was just kicking other humans about, which is kind of weird to think about it. Which on the other side, have you heard the fan theory about Meta in Cars?
No, I don't think so. Go on.
So in Cars, by the way, Marble It Up Ultra is brilliant. I love it. If you've ever got it, it's a free upgrade. If you haven't, buy it. It's brilliant. Marble It Up Ultra, like absolutely love it. Anyway, yeah, Meta, right, in Cars, he's got a junkyard, right, and have you ever seen what's in his junkyard?
No.
Car parts. Now, in the world of cars, there's no humans, right, only cars. So technically his junkyard is absolutely full of bits of other cars, essentially remains. Human remains in the world of cars, right? And Meta has been collecting them, and no one cares. He's collecting body parts, Stu.
Oh my god, that's dark.
Yeah, I know. I saw it and just went, what? Oh yeah. Oh, that does make sense. I know, like most Disney films, when you sort of go into them, you find about 50,000 million contradictions, and that can't work like that. But yeah. I think it's darker than why did the glass slipper turn back to whatever it was originally in Cinderella. Yeah, really strange. But Marble It Up Ultra is really, really good. I hope it gets a sequel. And it runs perfect on Steam Deck as well, which is really, really good. All games like this, quick pick up and play games, puzzle games, these sort of things, should always work well on a handheld, and this does, and it's absolutely brilliant.
Yeah. Is it good though, Brad?
Yeah, I absolutely love it. You might not believe that.
Excellent. Yeah, no, it's a kind of, yeah, I will play those sorts of games. I tend to only play them for a shortish time because I kind of get frustrated at how crap I am at them. But I really like Marble Madness. That's partly because of the view and the view perspective on it.
I want another game. That's it. I would love another one that had that perspective done to it, but with modern like physics and controls and
yeah. And what is it that's a little bit like it? It's like is it called Supersonic, the arcade Sonic game with the trackball? That's a little bit like that. Quite unique, but they're good. Yes. They're good. I liked Monkey Ball, although I just had to battle to get through it. Not any best times or collections or any crap like that. But yes, it does sound pretty good. I might pick it up at some point.
Yeah, I mean, again, this is all what I would say, this is going to depend on how much you like these sort of games. I said I loved Cooler World, I loved Korra Rimpa, I loved Marble Blast, Ultra, and I loved all of those. Like I even like Screwball Scramble, video game version of Screwball Scramble. Come on, Pete.
Yeah, that would be a great idea, actually. Yeah, lots of different tables.
Really,
yeah,
really insane with it. Anyway, I love all that stuff. £25 if you don't already own it, which could be a bit steep for some. If it's not like something you're really into, then I can see that being a bit off-putting. But if you've enjoyed anything like, I say, Marble Madness or Marble Blast Ultra, anything like that, then yeah, this is well worth a purchase. There's easily the value there as well.
Okay, fair enough. That's a very ambitious price that they've gone for there, but I hope it works for them. Yeah.
So, what video game stroke Disney Pixar movie do you want to talk about?
I don't really want to talk about any Pixar because they've got so rubbish over the last few. Not rubbish, but you know what I mean. Just kind of middle of the road, not trying, much more Disney-fied. It's just
They're not Spider-Verse.
No.
Essentially.
No, or that new Turtles one, which I still haven't seen. Well,
oh yeah, I've got to get that, and that looks really good actually.
It does.
I fancy that.
Yeah, me too. But other than that Disney and Pixar output, I've been playing, which is no surprise because we've already talked about it before, Armored Core 6: Fires of Rubicon, which probably everybody knows about, even if they're not interested or they haven't played it, because it's by From Software, and it's one of those that they were famous in inverted commas for making the Armored Core series from and then a little game called Demon's Souls came along that they created, and then since then they've been the Demon's Souls and Soulsborne studio, and everyone forgot about Armored Core, and now it's come back and it's got a load of attention because it's by From Software. So nice to see it back, and I've talked about it in brief in a previous episode. And I had an interview with Ollie Barder, who's one of the big proponents of the Armored Core series, and has been for since Inception, really. Not since the film Inception, since the series Inception. Not the TV series of Inception. I'm going down an Inception rabbit hole, Brad, stop me. But
it's like you went into my mind for a second.
Yeah, I've taken over. It's being John Malkovich, being Brad Malkovich or something. But yeah. So I had an interview with Ollie Barder, who's a game designer and journalist, and has been a friend of mine for 20 years or so, to talk about Armored Core 6. And you can hear a little snippet of that interview, which will be available on a separate podcast soon. So here it is.
I actually got to play the game like a month before it got released for like a behind, closed doors thing. And I remember going against that first boss for the first time and going, are they serious? This is the first level. I think I actually killed it first time, but I remember thinking that is going to really limit a lot of people. They're going to have a really tough time with that.
So, yeah, great interview. Unsure about the interviewer, but the interviewee was boss.
Harsh.
That much I must say.
Harsh but fair. Yeah.
So, what are your thoughts on the game, though, Stu? Come on, let's hear more of that.
Well, my personal thoughts are that it's really excellent, and it does a couple of things that it does stuff that it's always done, which is great. So it doesn't just completely go, let's chuck out the old rule book and do something completely new with it and match any audience expectations that are around. And it doesn't also go, well, let's reskin a Dark Souls game into Armored Core. So it's got their DNA and their kind of approach to games threaded through it. So you do have stamina bars, and you do have stagger points, and you do have builds that are ideal versus just being able to make the best of your build. Although there's a little bit of that in there, but there is definitely a kind of a best trod path to follow. But in typical From style, they don't tell you what that is. You have to discover it for yourself. And it's got a ludicrously harsh and difficult first boss encounter right at the beginning of the game when you haven't really been taught anything.
No, not in a From game.
I know, right. But it doesn't even have as we talk about in the interview, it doesn't even have a fail state that you're supposed to hit. It doesn't beat you intentionally and then carry on with the story. You actually have to beat this boss. So it will wrong foot a lot of people doing that, but then it gets much more balanced. And if you get past that first hump It's a really good game. There are always going to be these From games. They're always going to be very, very hard, very focused. You have to pay a lot of attention. You have to be ready for the challenge. But as I compare it to on the in the interview, it's similar to Ace Combat, which is like one of my absolute favourites, and very much like Ace Combat 7, the most recent one. And, you have that garage thing where you go in and, fix things up and make them the best they can be, pick different builds for the different missions. The missions are very different in character and what loadout you need. And it actually forces you to think about what you want to carry. Do you want to have like explosive armament? Do you want to have heavy tank tracks? Do you want to be more nimble and fast? Do you want to be mostly airborne in this mission, or are you going to stay ground based, or is it something that flips between the two? So you'll definitely get the most out of the things that are available to you, rather than it be a kind of, you're just kind of, it's like a humanoid but skinned as a robot kind of thing. You genuinely feel like you're piloting a piece of machinery that has, weight and inertia and stuff. The missions themselves are good, they're really well laid out, and they tend to be like, all these things are From very much boss focused rather than about beating sets of enemies and then, having a bit of a boss encounter. Now it's much more weighted the other direction. How you react to it will be very much based on that and level layout, because the level structure is okay. It's not fascinating or fantastic. It's a little bit pedestrian. It's all about really those encounters. It's kind of hopping from arena to arena to get into these boss battles. It's almost a kind of, go way back to Virtual On, which was, an early mech game by Sega, much more lightweight than this, but it's that similar sort of, one-on-one encounter and that pitched battle in a small-ish arena kind of thing. But yeah, no, it's a really good game. It's kind of appealing to look at, but in a kind of dark, gritty kind of typical From Software kind of a way. Not very exciting to look at, not really pushing any technical boundaries either, but it does the job, in the way that it looks. It's quite atmospheric. It does have a really good sense of scale, really big buildings, some really big mechs, and that's nice. You get a sense of, like I was talking about, the weight and the inertia, and that's like tripled, quadrupled, by these great big massive machines. So so if you like the thought of bits of Gran Turismo, bits of Ace Combat, and any of the old mecha games that you've played, if you like that thought of it, sort of stapled with that action genre, then it might well be for you. It's not a classic, but it's a solid, good game, and I'm finding it really good fun.
So the one thing I want to find out is the Souls games of Bloodborne I find them, their pacing is fairly meandering for the right reasons. It is slow, it's methodical, whereas this looks like, in presentation at least, I've not watched any gameplay or anything properly because I want to play this and experience it myself, but it looks action-packed, which is not what you expect from a FromSoft game. Is it fast, or does it take up more of that kind of slower stuff that you get in the other From games?
It generally speaking is incredibly action packed. There are some missions that slow things down a little bit, especially when you're up against like big gun turrets that need a little bit of stealthy action to get closer to and a good use of the environment and cover. But generally speaking, it's just action all the way. It's totally like hammering it, and most of the times once you get into combat, it's so frantic and you have to be so in control. Think about like racing games when you're going at full speed, full tilt down like tiny little tracks, that sort of thing, plus managing with your guns as well. It's incredibly action packed sort of a game.
Excellent. No, I still look forward to playing this at some point. It's on my wish list, I'm really hoping to get to this one. It looks really good, and I'm glad it sounds like it's really good as well. This isn't the one that... No, I'm getting the wrong one. This isn't the one that had the big, massive controller, is it? That's something else, isn't it?
That's Steel Battalion from
that's
the Xbox.
It. Yeah. That was a mech game, wasn't it?
It was, yeah.
Yeah, I'd love one of those still.
Me too.
But anyway, that looks really good, and it was a really good interview as well, which I said we'd be able to get as a separate episode, a special hopefully at the time of listening to this, if not a couple of days later, unless you listen to this in the future, in which case it's already there. Inception.
Or, back to Inception. Or if you're listening in the far future, nothing exists, and this is the last podcast you'll ever listen to. Yeah, so
if you're listening into the far future, congratulations, you survived.
Yeah, well done you. Yeah.
God, imagine if we was the only podcast, like the only audio recording ever left in the world, and all you got was my voice going on and on and on.
Mankind's legacy.
Forever.
Oh, bloody hell.
You're the last person alive who can help save mankind. You hear my voice in your head for 20 minutes and you just end it all right now.
Yeah, it's best that the human race doesn't continue.
Yeah, I've damned us all to hell, Stu.
You have again. So
again, every week.
To offset that a little bit, what else have you been playing?
Jumplight Odyssey is a game I've been playing, which is a space-based simulation strategy game that is in parts FTL light. Not light, FTL like in places, base builder parts in places, simulation, management, all that kind of things. So basically, you're on this adventure through space. There's story going on for whatever reason to make sure you've got to go across space, and you've got to gather like different survivors and save them. Obviously, you've got to save the survivors, otherwise they're dead. But they're not survivors.
Not survivors anymore. Yeah.
You've got to maintain your ship. Make sure any damage it takes when there's combat is repaired. That all your people that are on there are healthy, but also have their personal needs looked after. So people on there, they will build relationships, likes and dislikes, as well as everything else that's going on. So again, you've got to make sure they've got downtime, they've got entertainment areas, and all things like that you'd expect in management games, just all within the confines of space. And it took me a while to get to this because I tried playing it on Steam Deck and it's just the worst experience on Steam Deck. It really, really is, unfortunately. But I then played it on the PC, on the like at the desk, and it's all right. It's missing something at the moment for me to really draw me in and grab me, compared to other games of its ilk. So, like the FTL parts, FTL does better. The management resource stuff has been done better in like a 2-point hospital or something like that. The space exploration has been done better in various different space-based games. The relationship and storytelling has been done better in other games. But it's got something there. It just needs more time to cook to bring it through. It's kind of got this Saturday morning cartoon aesthetic in some cutscenes, and then it's kind of got this weird cel-shaded 3D look in the actual game, which I'm not a big fan of that kind of difference between them. If they are going to do that, either go completely Saturday morning cartoon with everything, or have Saturday morning cartoon style things but a much more realistic stylized actual game itself. The actual in parts, it looks a bit cheap, and not in a good way, which is a shame because they've gone for an artistic choice. I just don't think it quite hits. But it's early access. It's not a bad game, but the developers have got some decisions to make that will decide whether it becomes a game that people enjoy playing or one that just gets, basically confined to the dumping ground of space.
The dumping ground of space moons. Yeah. I like it.
But yeah, it's a weird one. It's got something, but it hasn't quite got it. And I'm willing to go back to it in a few months and see where it is then. It's piqued my interest, but it's not made me go, oh yeah, this is the one.
Yeah, no, fair play. Yeah. Wait for the full release and see if they fix them.
I don't think it's coming out in the fall.
In the fall.
I'll try to do American seasons then, the fall. But it's because in most cases they say, it's released in the fall. And it's like, then it gets delayed to 2024 or whatever.
Yeah.
But I don't know. What I will say, it's a good. This isn't one of those good examples of doing early access right. It's a complete game in terms of it works, it's playable, etc., etc., and they can use the early access to improve the bits that people don't like. So again, we're not at the full release. This is a great way of using early access to hopefully build the final game that you want to release, or that will have everything it needs.
Good. Yeah, fingers crossed then.
So moving on, what other minor indies have you been playing, Stu?
One very minor, very indie, which is very Starfield. So, I've only had not even half an hour on it proper yet, but it's worth mentioning sort of early days really to talk about it and say that it's on the radar because it's a big one. But so like everything, the story so far has been of technical issues and trying to get it to work in a way that is at least vaguely acceptable because it's so heavily geared around being used on AMD architecture, and I've got an NVIDIA card that it doesn't run very well at all on pretty much anything unless you've got an AMD graphics card. It took a long time to install because it's like 120 gig in size, absolutely gigantic, which you can understand. Haven't installed it on the Steam Deck, but I'll come to the Steam Deck side of it in a minute. And spent a long time sort of tweaking stuff, but one of the crucial things was I subscribed to Patreon to a guy called Pure Dark who does DLSS implementations for non-DLSS games. So I'm conscious this is a very techie conversation, so if you're not interested, skip to the next section. You can get the timestamps from the show notes. So he does implementations of DLSS for non-DLSS games, and he's got an injector for this, and it really, really helps. It really helps, very, very heavily to make things look a little bit better. It's really heavy game in terms of running. The best I can get, even with all the gubbins turned down that make any difference to performance, is 30 frames per second and sometimes lower than that. Which is not really a representation of my computer. It's more to do with the drivers for the NVIDIA cards. But there you go. So I spent ages doing that. I spent ages getting the controller to work properly. I had controller problems. And then ages tweaking the graphics. So I've not spent a lot of time in it. But it seems really good. It looks lovely. I really like the aesthetic, the art direction of it. I think it's got a great... it's got sci-fi trope looks to it, but its touch points are things like there's a sort of bit of Buck Rogers there. There's a bit of Alien, particularly Alien Isolation, but there's a lot of colour and life, to it. It's not kind of a dark, depressing place. It's a kind of a hopeful, bright kind of place. It's stuffed full of detail everywhere. And it has a real strong atmosphere to it. It looks quite unique, even though it's using a lot of space tropes. So really, really good looking game, and people don't seem to be mentioning it much. Don't really know why, but I think it looks fantastic.
Because of pronouns, Stu.
Oh yeah, it'll be the pronoun thing. Oh yeah, that guy who's get everywhere about the pronouns.
Oh my god,
pathetic.
I honestly thought it was a bit. Yeah. And I was waiting for the punchline, and then it was like, oh no, wait, he's actually angry. And someone's done a video, sorry to sidetrack you, done a video that counts the amount of pronouns he uses in his rant about pronouns. And it's brilliant.
Oh, I've got to say that.
Yeah. Because of your California bullshit or whatever it is. Yeah. I don't know. It's like, what the fuck?
Oh.
Imagine installing something that's over 100 gigs and then going, right, no, I'm done. At the character creation. Before, actually, I'm assuming before the actual character creation, because you would select whether you're male, female, other, whatever, beforehand, before you actually then build your character.
Yeah, I think it's at the same time. It's like 5 minutes in. Yeah, but crazy. Yeah.
Throw down.
Yeah. But yeah, no. So
That's
it's
gonna be a meme. But anyway, carry on. Yeah, go on, just back to-
technically extremely shaky. On PC, really needs to have several big patches to make it run the way it ought to. But I've started to stream it to my Steam Deck, which really helps because you're obviously using a lower resolution, and I can get about a fairly stable 50 frames per second going, stop it being quite so juddery, which is a lot better. So yeah, early impressions is it needs a lot of time baking. It's not so much bugs this time round for Bethesda, but it's more to do with drivers. So we'll see where it goes. But just planting the pin in the map on that game.
No Man's Sky versus Starfield. Is it night and day, or is there any reason to sort of go, actually, I'm not going to play No Man's Sky, just move to Starfield or switch over? Because there's a lot in there where I'm watching screenshots or I've seen quick videos of it, and I'm just going, well, that's just No Man's Sky, all of that. Yeah.
Well, it's to borrow one of your phrases, it's a Bethesda-ass Bethesda game, really. So it's imagine, pretty much a reskimmed Skyrim kind of game experience. It's like that. If you like that style of game, you'll like it. If you don't like it, you won't like it. Yeah, but it's not massively like No Man's Sky, to be honest. It's more like Mass Effect, but not even really like Mass Effect. It is just like their house style. Yeah.
I might, if I've had to cancel my Game Pass for a bit, to try and save some monies, because the world we live in now. But when I get back, I'm not going to buy this one. I don't think I might just play it on Xbox Cloudy thingy, and see how it goes through there.
The Cloudy thingy.
Yeah. It doesn't look like it's like overly like Twitch ready. Like you need like really super fast reflexes to get the most out of it. So I'm hoping it's one that is nicely playable via streaming.
Yeah. It should be. There's lots of difficulty settings. You can make it as easy as you like, I think, to make it a story experience if you want.
Sweet. Yeah, that's actually the one thing. So I'm guessing with it being Microsoft, but also behind it, there's some decent accessibility settings at least.
I've not even had a chance to dig into them properly yet, to be honest with you. I have to do that. I would expect
report back next week.
Yeah, definitely.
I expect your report on my desk first thing next Thursday morning.
Oh, bloody hell. All right. Like being back at work. No,
you don't want that. I'd be, as a boss, I'd be like, what? Yeah, whenever. And then it would get done. I'd be like, that's fine. I don't want to shout at you.
By the way, the business is closing, but that's all right. Yeah, that's what I'd be like.
Fine. But don't make money. Who needs it? I'd like some, but no, I don't know. Well, I need money. But anyway, moving on from Starfield.
Yes.
I've been playing what I think is a very, very, very unique puzzle platformer. Now, you do a lot of editing, Stu.
I do.
For audio. You have to do a lot of dragging of bars and stuff like that as you layer your audio and maybe chop bits up, etc. And it's the same when it comes to video editing. Well, what if I told you someone's made a puzzle platforming game based in the movie industry where you play it by editing the video on a video editor screen?
Okay.
That's the concept behind It's a Wrap. So essentially, you're on this thing like it's set in I think 80s Hollywood, and you got your actor who's got to do these different scenes, and there is an action film, and most of the scenes are get from the left to the right, and then something goes wrong. So one of the early ones is like an Indiana Jones style scene where he's running along a ledge, and then he's got to jump onto a rock base. That's then going to fall over, jump onto another one that's going to fall over, jump onto the safe area, and then a rock ball's going to drop down and roll after him. And then the first thing it does is you do it, and you're running, and straight away these rocks fall on you and kill you. And then it goes, cut, need to do that again, zooms out, and it takes you to a video editing screen. And then on the editing screen, you get like different segments on there. One will be for the timing of the falling rocks. One will be for the timing, say, for example, of a platform leaning and starting to go. And basically what you've got to do is adjust these little bars so that the rocks fall at the right time when you start running, so they fall just behind you to keep it exciting. That you jump on a ledge, but you need that ledge to fall at a certain time so you can then jump onto the next ledge, which needs to fall early enough so you to get onto the thing before the rock ball falls. Otherwise it just falls on you, so you can then outrun it to the end. And all the levels are variations of that, where different parts of the level have their own layer, and then you basically need to adjust what they do and their timings to get to the end of the level. And it's really, really intuitive. It sounds complicated, but as soon as you've played a level or two, it's really intuitive. And while you're editing, you can scrub along with like your timing bar to have a look at what's doing what and make minor adjustments. And basically, to complete the level, all you've got to do is get from one end to the other end to complete the scene. And the levels get more and more complex as they go, but in interesting ways. You could die in so many different ways as well, which keeps it like entertaining. It's always fun to see how things go wrong and that kind of thing. And the only issue I've got with it is I almost want to see it with a sequel and built on, because I think the mechanic is really interesting, but I don't think it lasts long enough. I don't think it does enough with it to be able to do it. So, like when you're doing a video, obviously you'll do things with audio, so it'd be maybe like for a sequel or DLC or something down the line where you could do things with audio, or maybe you could bring in special effects or things like that. I'd like to see it sort of really built upon the editing functions, maybe being able to change layers and move like different things into different areas, just all the things you could do with like Premiere Pro or After Effects or like Audition and all different like editing softwares. I just bring it all in. But yeah, it's really, really interesting as a concept, and I'm really enjoying my time with it. It's definitely something different, and I say why it's not perfect, and once I'm done with it, I'm done. It's one I'm like, please do something more with this, because it's got something about it that shakes things up a little bit that we've not seen in quite some time.
Excellent. Yeah, there are, like you say, there are kind of games a little bit like that, but not exactly like that. So it has kind of got a bit of a niche. So yeah, hopefully it'll get some more polish over time and more additions and be something really good.
Yeah, that's really good. I mean, you could do, just even thinking out loud, like you could use the same thing to do like maybe like an on-rails first-person like Time Crisis style shooter, where the shooting's automatic, but you've got to make adjustments to the scene to bring the enemies out at the right time and stuff like that. So there's so many different concepts they could do that they take it away from just the run left to right side of stuff. But as I said, it's really, really, really interesting game. I just like games that try something a bit different. And even though it is like we've got thousands of puzzle platformers, I've not played one like this that's really interested me as much as this does. So, yeah, really good. More, please.
Excellent. Good stuff.
So, yeah, that's it for games. It's really, really hot out. I'm not even going to go for a bit anymore because I'm just too hot and I need to go and get a shower. So I'm going to shut up now and go and soak myself in water.
Yeah, it's a good idea. I'm going to melt like an ice cream, I think. So I will leave it there. And yeah, so everybody, if you could please follow us on all the socials, check out our content on the website, join up to our Discord and chat with like-minded people there about any subject you would like to. And until next time, in the meantime, stay safe and stay sane.